Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, obviously one of the great players of all time, four-time award-winning columnist and writes regularly for publications including The Hollywood Reporter, The Guardian, and LA Times. His new technology service offers direct custom video messaging. Also check out iconomy.com, which helps pro athletes create brand equity and expand their legacy beyond sports to support themselves after retirement. Kareem joins us this morning. Good morning, Kareem. How are you?
I'm doing well, Dan. Everything's okay.
I don't know if you saw this. I hate to bring it up to you now. Wes Unseld passed away. I know that somebody.
Oh, jeez. No,
Yeah,
I didn't. I'm
yeah.
sorry to hear that. Wow.
And I was trying to tell people how unique Wes Unseld was. You know, he missed out on the the TV era, but it felt like he was 6'7", about 250 or 260.
Yeah, you had to go around him. I mean, sometimes you get lucky, you could reach over him and get a rebound. But Wes was great at just he could keep you away from a certain area, and the rebound could bounce off the floor and he'd pick it up. Because you couldn't get to that position on the court. He learned how to use his bulk and size to give himself a rebounding space, and he was very effective at it.
Yeah, he was one of those guys who defied logic. He was like Paul Silas. They weren't great leapers, but it felt like they were getting every rebound, and he played on that great Bullets team with Elvin Hayes and Phil Chenier
Yeah,
that won a title.
yeah,
I love the op-ed in the LA Times. Obviously, very powerful, but I've come to expect that from you. Take us back to late '60s. Like, are we any better, any different now, improved in handling these situations?
Well, I think we've been through the ups and downs of it. We've seen the progress and then the backsliding that has occurred since the heyday of the civil rights movement. I remember when between my junior and senior year in high school, a young man, James Powell, got killed on the streets of New York by a police officer, and Harlem broke out in about 2 or 3 days of riots. So that was 56 years ago. So none of this is new. It's happened too many times before, and we have to do something to get to a point where this is not where it doesn't happen like it does. It just seems to just play into a really bad situation every time. So we've got to learn how to deal with that.
But I wonder about everybody's role in this, because it feels like if something happens, we tend to put this on the black community to say, hey, this is on you, when it's really on the white community to understand this. Or how do we advance this if you were going to speak to an audience?
I would have to say that when it's easy to dismiss somebody's humanity and the fact that they are a person with rights and expectations that we should mutually respect, when that goes out the window, all of these abuses they just become commonplace. And the whole idea that a segment of society is considered not worthy or not equal is going to lead to what we have seen happen.
And you start to wonder about, we've had these great leaders like Dr. King, or if
Yeah.
Muhammad Ali was still alive. Like, I wonder about just these individuals and what they meant to history. How do you think Dr. King would view what happened in Minneapolis?
Well, he would see it in conjunction with all of the other lynchings and murders of Black people that have happened prior to that. It's not an uncommon story. It's too commonplace. That I think that's why we don't do anything to change it, because we've accepted it for so long.
I also worry, though, that we move on so quickly, Kareem, when something happens and
Yeah.
then we're outraged, and then this will go away. This will dissipate. We've seen this before.
And then the next outrage will get everybody excited for a little while, and then they'll forget about it because we've accepted it for so long. It's just the way that we do business, and we can't do it like that anymore. there has to be some type of change. And what it's all about, I think, at this point is we have to find some means to deal with bad cops. Bad cops make it bad for good cops. They make it bad for citizens of color, poor people. The bad cops are able to just do what they want in those situations. So, when we get to the point where um, that's not a problem, I think will have made a lot of progress.
You were one of the more famous teenagers in the United States when you were playing at Power Memorial. Did you have any run-ins with the police?
Of course, and I've had a gun pulled on me for being tall and dark. That was it.
Really?
um, yeah, and one time one of my sons was bringing one of my other sons home, and the police stopped him. They wanted to know what he was doing driving around in an expensive car, and they thought that was suspicious, and they jacked him up. It happens. It's part of our culture, and it's part of how we see things, and we've got to change that.
I thought the mayor of Atlanta had powerful words when she just said, this is like, I can't send my son out to do a piece. I can't send you out. I can't protect you. And I don't know how helpless that may feel for you, that, you worry about your kids.
You
And
worry about your kids, and you want to protect them, and you want them to have an idea of how to conduct themselves so they won't be in any danger. And for Black kids, that's a very iffy situation.
we're talking to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Muhammad Ali died 4 years ago yesterday. Remember the first time you met him?
Yes, I do. Yeah,
What
I
was
was at. I was just walking down Sunset, and Muhammad Ali was out there doing magic tricks for people that were just walking by. And I was like, "What? That's Muhammad Ali." And I was with two friends of mine, and we stopped and watched him for about 10 or 15 minutes, and then kept going. And then a couple of weeks later, I went to a party. It was during my freshman year at UCLA. I went to a party, and he was there, and I got to meet him, and we just clicked. He was a great guy.
Wait, I don't know what's stranger, you walking on Sunset or Ali doing magic tricks on Sunset, Kareem.
Well, that's how it was in 19. It was 1966, spring of 1966. I remember. Yeah.
What don't I know about him?
Uh, that he was a really funny guy. He was a practical joker. He liked to uh, pull jokes on people and mystify them with some of his magic abilities. He tried magic tricks for a long time because he just liked to make people go, "Wow, what was that?"
But then he could get into the ring and be so violent. Like he was such a playful man. But
Yeah.
then you turn it on and turn it off. We saw that with the Jordan documentary. Mike doesn't turn it on and off. It's always on.
It's always on, yeah. But Muhammad Ali would he was like your cousin. You had to love him, because he was a really congenial guy, and he loved people.
I wonder about his impact because I've maintained I think Jackie Robinson is probably the greatest athlete of all time because baseball, basketball, football, track and field.
Yeah.
He became a Hall of Famer when people didn't want him to succeed, what he went through to do that. And then there's Ali's place in history. I don't know if you can categorize that, but the impact of Ali, and I said this when he died, Kareem, 4 years ago, he's leaving a legacy of athletes who are willing to step up now, I think, because they saw who he was when they saw all these testimonials, these tributes to Ali when he died. That you had LeBron and Chris Paul and Dwayne Wade and guys who are willing to put themselves out there. That's a powerful legacy that Ali left.
Yeah, Black athletes really for Black kids, Black athletes are the principal role models, and Black kids get a lot of positive direction from Black athletes. I know I did. When Jackie was playing for the Dodgers, I was a serious Dodger fan. And he just that kind of charisma really has an effect.
And he never let it boil over, though. How do you think Jackie Robinson compartmentalized this with everything that he was going? I mean, I'm sure internally, but he sort of maintained his dignity.
Yeah, and it was so hard to do at that time because people wanted to test him. But he had the right disposition, and he was definitely equipped. He was a pretty tough guy. A lot of those guys in the majors, he would offer to meet them under the stands, and if they wanted to sell it that way, we'll stick to baseball.
When's the last time you shot a sky hook?
Geez, I can't remember. While I was coaching, and working with Andrew Bynum, I had to demonstrate stuff. So I got back in some kind of shape at that point. But that's long ago and far away now.
Do you care about any of these lists, Kareem? Where ESPN had the greatest college basketball player of all time poll, and I railed because you weren't you're the greatest college basketball player of all time. I was mad. I was probably madder than you would ever be, I'm guessing, but Jordan was the greatest college basketball player of all time. Just help me here. If you don't care about it, then I won't care about it.
It's not important to me because the people that would vote for Michael Jordan and that don't have the perspective. They didn't see me play. I wish they had seen Oscar play. They really changed their mind about that. Michael wasn't anywhere near the college player that Oscar was. It all depends on your perspective, and when you understand that, you can see where someone would say that because Michael's style was so charismatic. People think that does it. But style and effect are two different things.
But we look at Michael and we go, well, he won 6 titles, he didn't lose. Bill Russell won 11. He didn't lose. Like I don't. How do you decide?
You can't. And people who didn't see Bill Russell play have no idea. What he did. He stifled the whole league for 11 world championships. Michael Jordan had 6. There's no comparison, but people don't understand what's being compared. So that's why they get it wrong. So.
You just missed out on Russell? Did
my first year in the league was his first year in retirement.
But I saw you against Wilt, and that was supposed to be this big showdown. Oh, let's see how Lou Alcindor is going to do against the great Wilt Chamberlain. What do you remember about that first meeting?
First meeting, I didn't do too good, and everyone after that, I did very well. By my third year in the league, I was wearing Wilt out, and he retired.
Yeah, and that's another thing that Wilt, he's a statistical anomaly.
Yeah.
He's not included in the greatest player of all time, it feels like, because we go, well, that's Wilt, and, the NBA was different back then.
Yeah, it was different, but still what Wilt did, nobody's going to do. Who's going to score 100 points, average? What did he average?
50.4 points.
Yeah, it's ridiculous what Wilt did. And nobody that saw him gets to vote now. They've all passed on. Wilt has passed on. So, I think you're going to have to stop it in errors, and then maybe people will get it. Be a little bit more correct in how they assess these things.
Yeah, and I tried. I don't want to be that guy who says, get off my lawn, but it feels like I'm speaking up for guys who people missed out on because I got to see everybody but Bill Russell play. And, I was there in Cincinnati at the Cincinnati Gardens, Cincinnati Royals. I got to see those, Maravich when he came in, when you came in. Run down the list of these great players, and I just say, you have no. Oscar played with the Royals. They were horrible. And then he got to Milwaukee, and then people go, oh, okay. Oscar, he won a title. I don't know. We pick and choose on what is great now, and we tend to. I had somebody arguing with me the other day about Rick Barry's greatness, and I said, God, you had to see him play. Like Rick Barry with that Golden State Warrior team, that was not a good team, but it was a team, and Rick Barry was awesome back then.
Yeah, he was.
But I had somebody say, well, Draymond Green is better than Rick Barry. And I go, Exactly. I said that I reacted the same way, Kareem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people they have no idea of what guys did. So it's you're just talking to people who can't relate to what happened before them.
Yeah, and I know there's always this competitiveness, and yours was probably hidden a little bit more, but I have to believe there's every part of you that says you're as impactful or better than anybody else who's ever played the game.
I think so, but if you got time to argue, I don't.
I'll continue to argue on your behalf. I actually saw the first time you played Bill Walton in a preseason game
You saw that game?
at the University of Dayton.
Okay.
And I remember, because I loved Bill. I thought Bill was as true a team center as I'd ever seen, like understanding the game. And I was like, he had his long hair and the bandana. And I remember it didn't go that well for Bill. That maybe it was like when you faced Chamberlain, but Bill got roughed up a little bit there. Do you ever talk to him about your meetings, your head-to-heads?
No, I don't. I want to talk to Bill about it because he always starts crying about how he was embarrassed and stuff. I wasn't trying to embarrass him. I was just trying to win, do what I could do to help my team win.
Yeah, but he has such praise for you, and rightfully so. But
well, thanks, Bill.
Yeah, although I think he dunked on you that one time in the playoffs, and when they won the title, and Bill likes to bring that up.
Well, that's one for Bill, and I had a few. So,
how are you feeling, by the way, with the corona?
I feel very well, thank you. And I'm involved in a new technology now that enables me to send messages to people and do celebrations for them. It's working pretty good. If you want to know anything about it, go to iconogram.com and you can see what's keeping me up at nights.
And that's spelled ICONOMY.
No, ICONOGRAM, iconogram.
Oh, so I got economy.com as well. Here is
economy.com.
Okay. Want to make sure I got that right.
For messages, you want me to do a message for you, celebration, weddings, birthdays, graduations, I can do all of that.
Are there there's no hardware in the background there. If I walk into the house, do I know what you do for a living or did for a living? No. No hardware.
Nope.
No jerseys.
Well, my room where I have all my baseball stuff and all the stuff that's important to me. Like Willie Mays signed a uniform for me. And gotta have that.
You probably have more baseball memorabilia than basketball memorabilia. Is that correct?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I do.
I
have certain things. Yeah.
What's your prized possession aside from the Willie Mays autographed jersey?
No, my prized possession is the 1955 World Series of Baseball. That has phony signatures on it. It has a couple of phony signatures because the club attendant used to, sign signatures of the guys who wouldn't sign the baseballs, and he'd sell them or something.
It's great to see you, and we appreciate your time as always. And keep writing. We appreciate it, Kareem.
Thank you very much, Dan. Nice talking to you. Have a great day and stay healthy.
Thank you. That's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.